Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of this program. I have with me here Doro Udeh, and she's a very amazing person. I've known Doro for like 3 years now, right? Uh, Doro is a
Yeah, about
self-motivated creative entrepreneur. She volunteers part-time with an organization as an administrative manager. That is the African Women Entrepreneurship Program. Where she writes support letters, source for grants, and provides business support to over 300 female members of that organization. She's an avid networker, a and connects people to opportunities where available. She takes time to mentor young women and spend time developing and analyzing programs to help women become better entrepreneurs. She is married and a mother of five amazing kids. She's also an author, the first time author of a book, A Parent's Guide to Homeschooling.
homeschooling.
And very soon she'll be sharing this wonderful piece of literature because which can be available on the platform. Booklify, one of my platforms, might be available for people of all classes to be able to access this. Welcome to this program once again, Jerry.
Thank you, Nathaniel. It's a pleasure to be here. I
Great.
was a little surprised that you called me to be part of it, but I'm happy. At least someone sees me as someone that can talk.
Of course, you're a wonderful person. So today we want to talk about some of the important issues that women face in society.
Yes.
And one of the reasons why this program was born was to address issues, personal issues, and questions that people face or are confronted with as they pass through life. Normally, you have people talking about business opportunities and how to be successful in business, but there are other key issues that concerns life in general that much attention is not paid to. We do not see conversations around this topic. So that's why this program was born to actually address these issues. And women are a critical part of our society and they play a very significant role in how society is formed and how society develops. But as with every other individual in society, there are so many problems that women are confronted with. That is why we decided to come up with this particular episode, which is a woman's strength, to talk about some of the challenges that women face in society and how they've been able to develop inner strength to address or confront these challenges. Doro is let's say, a strong woman, if I can use that use that term. So, but then we want to hear from you, at least from your own experience, because this is all about experiences, right? So we
Yes.
want to know from your own experience, what does it really mean to be a woman?
Okay.
Yeah,
From my experience, what it means to be a woman, as a woman, I as a girl, because a woman starts from being a girl, she becomes a lady, and then she becomes a lady slash woman. So as a girl, when I was growing up, I grew up with my father because my mother was not always around. And so I kind of grew up like a boy, fixing cars and doing some boyish kind of things, repairing lights, changing light bulb, trying to short circuit electricity and all that. So I didn't grow as a typical, I didn't grow up as a typical girl that was cooking and all that. I didn't have that kind of upbringing. So my perspective on being a woman is a little different. I looked at myself then as a softer side of a man, like a more gentle side of a man. And while I was preparing for this talk, I started reading some books that I had read before I got married, because I knew that I wasn't very feminine per se. So, and I came across something that was really profound. He said, if you want to know what something is, you have to go to the maker, the person who created that thing. The maker will be
yeah,
able to explain to you better what that thing is. And then of course I continued reading, and it said, go to the creator. Why did God create the woman? And the woman was initially created to help the man. We do not know what God was, why God felt the man needed help, but that was the main reason a woman was created. Now, before you get to the point of being a help to a man, what do you do as a girl before that point? Because a woman is in stages. She doesn't start, she's not just born and starts looking after a man. It means that to a large extent, women are helpers in whatever area they find themselves. They approach things a little differently from men because we are more aware of our emotional self and our surrounding. We look at our surrounding a lot differently from the men. We are more relational. We think about relationships. Is this person happy? I want to call my mother. We are more relational than the men folk. And that's not a bad thing. You just need to understand that you are this way because of how you were created. It's not something that is like a deformity, because you see some women trying to act like men, I'm not emotional, they try to be like they are men, but it doesn't really work because you weren't created that way. You were created to be emotional. What you now need to do is to be able to contain that part of yourself and use it for for something that is more productive. So I see women more as nurturers. We are relationship builders. We keep the home. In business, we are the ones who see the things that the men don't see. Because men, to me, I just look at them as fire and go, cha cha, boa, and they just keep moving. And then women are
Yeah.
more, we tend to see some other part like, don't do like this. So that boy is not happy the way you treated him. That man is going to
Yeah.
cheat us. We see things from a different perspective, and so it's kind of, to me, it's fascinating to know that the two actually work better when they are together. And then not just in marriage, but even in at work. If you are in an organization that has a balance of men and women, you see that organization is more robust, as opposed to if the organization is leaning more towards men or leaning more towards women, because women do bring their own part to whatever they find themselves, or wherever they find themselves. They do bring their own, how do I call it, their own ingredients.
Yeah.
Someone was telling me that women are like the conductor in an orchestra. Everybody's playing music, ga 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 ga. It's going crazy. But she just comes and she kind of puts things together. Now, not all women are that way, but most women, have that ability, if they nurture it, to be able to put things together. A man, just you ask a man, there's no food. He doesn't want the details. Just tell him how much, but the details, so that's, so women are, to me, they are the fine line in between the sentences, that they are that fine line in between the sentences. We are the ones that kind of, I don't know, we break everything down to maybe smaller bits, and then express it to whoever needs to understand understand what we're doing.
Wow, wow, that's really, really amazing. My next question was going to be about how you derive your sense of identity as a woman. But then I think you've actually taken us to the history why a woman is created, and that is where you derive your identity. I don't know, but if there's any other thing you can add to that, how you come about your identity as a woman, that would really help in shaping this conversation properly as we move
Okay, how you identify yourself as a woman? Now, funny enough, I was at a training once that was talking about the other population, and it's a new thing, when you want to talk about, men who have now become women. It's not something that is common in our society, but I
on.
have been listening to, those kind of things, and I want to say, oh, they're not really women, because you want to be, called a woman doesn't necessarily mean you are a woman, but then I want to look deeper, because you have to understand where these people are coming from. Have to understand why they feel they can be called women even though they weren't born as women. And you see some peculiarities. Maybe they are nurturers, they are very good with relationships, they have a feminine side to them. what is that thing that is the feminine side to a person? When they say, oh, this guy is very feminine,
Yeah.
those days it used to be like an insult, but now it's not an insult anymore, because the world has changed. There's a new population of people who want to be recognized as women. And what it means to find your identity as a woman is you are able to embrace all the entirety of life. You're able to take it all in. Some people say, oh, we are women because we have a womb. Yes, we create things, we build things, we nurture things, and we nurture them till they come into existence, and then we continue nurturing them till they are able to stand on their own. Not all men can do that. I don't know, about the other population, but I know most women, that's why it's kind of a part of us to give birth to something and then to nurture it to growth. So I think a woman, I find my identity as a woman in the fact that I nurture things. If you give me something small, I have a tendency to take care of it till it grows. That's just how I identify myself as a woman. I hope that was able to answer your question.
Of course,
Because
sure.
I've now veered into the key population people who are the
Yeah,
men who
yeah,
want
yeah.
to be identified as women, because those men they want to be called women, and I don't have anything against it, but I just want to understand why. I don't know, why do you want to be a woman? It's kind of a stressful thing. I want to be a man, and you would start wondering, why does someone want to be a woman? But it looks like we have the world, you know, focused on us. We
Yeah,
seem to have everybody trying to help us. Women empowerment. There's so many programs that are supporting women. So I think this is
yeah,
just a good time to be a woman. We have all the support. We have everything that is kind of helping us to be better women. So I think everybody would like to be a woman at this time in life. But if you backtrack like 100 years ago, trust me, you don't want to be a woman.
sure.
Because women
Definitely.
women were saddled with a lot of responsibilities. So nowadays being a woman is just someone who nurtures and grows things and has a lot of support from the society, because they kind of see us as the weaker sex. Physically I think we're weaker, but emotionally we're quite strong. So that's how I think a woman is someone who has a womb, and someone who also wants to be identified as a woman. You have to give those people their right to be identified as a woman. I don't want to talk more than that now.
All right, all right. Thanks about that. Um,
Yeah.
One of the things that I've actually noticed is a lot of people try to deny their femininity, right? So it seems as if
Yes.
femininity is it's a problem on its own, and then it will make you somehow appear weak within society. So you try to embrace some of the masculine traits um, and all that. So how can women, I don't know if it's right to use the word, come to appreciate their femininity as a gift that can serve the greater purpose in society? Because you said something about everyone is coming around today to support women and all that. And women are
Yeah.
not tried. They bring something little, they make it big. And all that. So how can women begin to actually appreciate femininity as a trait, and how is it something that should be done or should be appreciated? What do you think about that?
A lot of us grew up in dysfunctional homes, where maybe we didn't have a father, and then we see a mother play the role of father and mother. And if you grow up in such a home, you tend to be confused about what the role of a woman really is. Because where there's an absence of a father, the woman has to take both the role of the enforcer, and the nurturer, because the fathers usually are the enforcers. So if you have a female who has grown up in a home like that, she cannot tell the difference between what it means to be feminine and then what it means to be masculine. In terms of relationship, because I see a lot of girls try to do relationship like men. I think it's a fraud that we have bought into, that we can act like men and actually get away with it, because women are very emotional. If a guy has a relationship with a girl, men are not very emotional. "Hey, I like her, ta 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 ta. But women are deeper. If they say they like you, they think about it. They go home, they think about it, they talk about it with their friends. Some of them, start to plan their life around that person just from that likeness, you know and this is a dysfunction, because of the lack of having the presence of a father or a male figure of authority in their lives. And because we are in the third world country, so most times both parents work, so the dad is not always in the house. It's always the mom. And if you don't see a man take on the role of a man, you kind of feel you missed out on something in your life, that you're looking for something like a void. You want to fill a void inside you, and you feel that
Hmm.
another man that is not necessarily your father can fill that void. And that's where, to me, I now see a lot of girls, go into a lot of relationships. They don't really take time to understand themselves before they jump into this relationship, and then they come out being hurt because they want to act like men. I don't know, I'm very old fashioned, but I think men are inherently polygamous. As in, they
Wow,
can do it.
really?
Yes. That's just my own thinking because,
Okay.
from my own observation. And
Right.
I'm not saying I support it, but it's my
Yes.
observation. A man can, well, you're a man, so you can now say, no, Doro is not true. But I feel a man can love two, three, four women at the same time, equally, no bias, and but a woman cannot do that. If a woman thinks she can do that, she's deceiving herself. She really cannot do that. At the end, she will be spent. She will feel like she has lost something. But the man will be energized, as in you see him like he will be more powerful. I
Sense
don't
of
know how to say it.
achievement.
But the woman will feel like a lot of things have come out of her because she gives out so much. So I think women have to really stand on their lane. They fought for women's rights. We fought to vote. We have fought to be equal with men. We have done all the fights. We have gone to, is it Beijing or wherever, and we are back. And they say women can
Yeah.
do anything that we want. But is it true? Can we really do anything that we want? Because I am a woman, and I know for a fact that every time I have a child, at least 2 years of my life is gone between carrying that baby to nurturing the baby to when that baby starts school. A very good portion of my attention, my focus, everything that I'm doing will be geared towards preparing that child for crèche. But I
Hmm.
homeschool my kids,
Yeah.
but that 2 years is gone. Now I married a man that is just 2 years older than I am, and he has gone so far in life that I start looking at him like, God, why did you cheat me? Because me
Hmm.
and this guy, we were practically on the same level. Look at him now. But when you calculate all those times I had to stay home to nurture my children, it seems like I had to give up some part of my time and my own pursuit of career to nurture those children. Now, if you're not married, you, of course, you can do that, and you can do that and you can really go far, before you're married and then you have children. But if you're married and you have children, that kind of slows you down. So I used to resent it before, but then I now had to start looking within to find the blessing in that opportunity to give a child 2 years of your life. And that is where being a woman, identifying as a woman now comes in, because you now find that your children are like a reflection of you. They are more of a reflection of you than they are of your husband. Now, who are you and what are you now transferring to that child? You now begin to see the bigger picture. I am creating someone for the world. I am preparing a life to go into the world to either change it or, affect the world in their own way. So women have that ability to be able to, prepare a child or prepare a human, let me not call the person a child, to change the world. Men, they they do it through women, but women are the ones that ensure. that's, to me, it's a role that is particularly tailored for women, and women should accept it. Being feminine is not bad, having to be, I don't know how to say, to be softer, maybe you cry, you are sad, or women have their own peculiarities. It's not a bad thing. There's some strength in it. You just have to understand why those things happen to you, and why things affect you the way they are, and why you respond the way you respond. And then you have to put it together for your own benefit. Don't try to copy guys. They are guys. We are girls. We have our own power. If you sit down and think about yourself as a human and as a female, you begin to see that there are things that you can do that a guy cannot do. Like, I can make people do things. I can make my husband do things, but he really cannot make me do many things, and he doesn't know that, but I know that. And I think he knows that now after a few years of marriage, but I can actually convince someone, with, how women will pet you, give you food. This thing you are doing is not good. Oh, you should do it like this, my baby. Don't, and then you see that you are changing someone. But a guy will just come, I will beat you. I will beat you, and he doesn't send the message across,
Right.
but a woman can do that, and get someone to do something that they want. I was telling you that I wrote letters for an organization to source
Yeah.
funds, and I saw that as a woman, you can talk to them. My women are on the fields, they are working. We are looking for how to better our life for ourselves, for our children, and then you see you have an emotional connection to people, and that in itself is a power that most women have. I don't think most men, I don't know, some men may be that emotional, but I never see, and I'm quite old, but I know most women have that power to not, let me not use the word manipulate, but they can change your mind about something. So when you have that power, isn't it up to you as a woman to harness that power, to pursue whatever I don't know how to call it, whatever vocation you want to
Desires.
pursue, or whatever, how do you say it now? Something, whatever you want to pursue, you can now get people to do things, for you, or for whatever agenda you are after, whatever agenda you are pursuing. Women have that strength. Women can make people do things, and women have to know that they can. Yes, we are soft and all that, but understand yourself very well. Some women are, they are very strong-headed, but they have a soft spot. They have something soft about them, if you can find it, and those kind of women that are very strong-headed, they are also very good, though, because they are strong-headed with some emotion somewhere, emotionally strong-headed,
Yeah.
and it's also a good thing. And I think that's what makes us female. It doesn't make us weak. A lot of people say, oh, you are weak, you get sad, when you marry, you don't have a life. It's a lie. When I marry, now I have a life. Even before I marry, I still have a life. I can affect many things. I can affect many societies if I intend, if that's my plan. I can bring out my message and I can say it in a very good way. Women are good storytellers. If they sit down and harness that quality, if I tell you a story now, people will start donating money from me. Women can do
Of
it.
course.
They can do it. They can do it, and without shame, because we are women. I can just remove my glasses and start crying now. You understand? Say, she's a woman. But do you know what effect that crying will do to you? You know, how much more if I am now using that crying, I'm now using it to manipulate you. So women are very strong, and I think women need to look at those sides of their characters and see it as strengths and not as weaknesses. Physically, I know guys are stronger than women are. I won't try
Yeah.
to fight a man, but if a man is challenging me in something, I know how I will get the person,
Sure.
and I think that's a power that most women have that men don't necessarily have. A woman, you can only get a woman if she needs something. Maybe she's kind of desperate, and then you can manipulate her that way as a man. But if a woman is not desperate, you can't really manipulate her. But women can manipulate men. regardless. They can manipulate situations, to suit whatever agenda they are after. And that's why some people say it's a woman's world. Women are like the black market, men are the main market. We are black market. We are black market. So we know we know what we are doing in our black market. And I don't know what question I was asking, but
Okay.
that's to me, that's the strength of a woman.
Hmm.
That's the strength
That's
of a
quite
woman.
amazing. Even in business, when people make purchasing decisions, they usually make it from an emotional point of view, right?
Emotional
So I,
aspect, yes.
that's what salespeople do a lot of times. They get you emotional, and then you rush and buy something because you have to
Yes.
get it at that point and all that. And what you're saying is that women can actually bring that emotion out of anybody, right? So
Yes.
that means they can use that to get whatever they want to get, irrespective of how the
Yes.
person is feeling, which is
Yes.
very, very powerful skill because
Yes.
if you can convince people and get them to an emotional state, you can get almost anything out of them.
Out of
It's
them.
really,
Yes.
it's really amazing. But I want us to
Yes.
now go to your own experience, right? How have you lived so far as a woman, and what's your journey like? If you could just give us a brief experience of your personal journey.
Okay. I actually wrote it down. I told you earlier that I grew up with my dad, so I I wasn't really aware I was a girl until I was like maybe 16, because a girl
Wow,
moved
that's
into
great.
my neighborhood and she was very girly. She used to read novels. I climbed my fence and I saw her reading a book. Her brother kicked his ball into my compound and I carried his ball, climbed my fence to give him back his ball.
Ah,
And then I
wow.
saw her reading a book. I saw her reading, reading a book at her backyard, and I was just curious, and I asked the boy, "Is that your sister?" He said yes. I said I want to be her friend, because I had friends in school, but after school you go home and you don't have anybody again. So
Yeah.
I told him I wanted her to be my friend. I should tell her to come to my house because I was not allowed to leave my own house. That she should come to my house. And we've been friends now for about 30 years,
Wow.
a good part of 20, late 20 years, and she came to my house. She was reading all these Mills and Boone kind of books, and I was like, I've heard about the books, but I never thought it was something I wanted to read. I wasn't allowed to watch TV as a child. So, I had to explore my environment to entertain myself. So she came with this book and I begged her to borrow me the book. And I read the book and it was fun, and I realized that girls actually needed boys to be happy. I was like, oh my God,
Mm,
I've missed out on everything because I was old. And
mm,
look at these people already, they already know what's up, and that was where my own journey about being a woman, began. Being a girl started because I now had to stop wearing my dad's slim fitted trousers. I had to start looking for gown, and skirts. I have to be a girl. I have to plait my hair. I have to do things like a girl. And that happened, and I became a teenager, and I started working pretty early, so I wasn't really allowed a lot of social time, because I had to look after my younger ones, and I started working early. I think the only part of me that was feminine was the fact that I had a boyfriend, but I dressed like a boy. I really dressed like a boy. I didn't start making my hair till I met my husband, that insisted that I should make my hair, but I just left the hair to grow the way it was growing, and that journey from that girl from the fence to when I met my husband was mostly work. I was mostly working, and I now went to school and I studied fashion. I actually wanted to study industrial design. I wanted to draw cars. I wanted to design cars, and someone told me that it's called industrial design. I didn't know industrial design in Nigeria was fashion. So yeah, it was with with no fashion taste, no fashion style in fashion
yeah.
school. And my
Wow.
father would tell you whatever is worth doing well. And so I got to school and I knew I had to pass. And I think I topped my class most of the time. I graduated with a distinction, at some point, and I did very well academically in school, but my mom was an artist, so I knew how to draw, and if you read your books very well, you can do anything very well. But a lot of people think things are about talent. It's really not about talent. Just read very well. So I could understand, style. I could understand trends. I could look at people and know, okay, this is what is stylish. I could start a business from that, and that's how my fashion journey started. I went into fashion. I started working. My first boss was a woman, and that was when I now knew how women were. She was an amazing boss, and throughout my work life, I worked for only one man. I've always worked for women after that, because she showed me a different side of management. She was very emotional. There was a time we wanted to strike at work and we had downed our tools and everything, and she just came into the factory and she started crying. We started putting our chair back. Everybody started walking. She just came and started crying. What is going on here? What is going on here? And we all just, madam, they cry. That kind of, and we just started walking, and I saw power in that. She didn't come shouting, I'll fire all of you. No, and she made, we all went back to work, and then she went to our office, and I was told to go and meet her. And I thought by the time I got to our office, she would still be crying. But I got to our office and she was on the phone talking to someone. She was talking about something entirely unrelated. And I was like, wow, what just happened here? And that was where I started seeing the power of women, especially in business, and I don't know, she was just phenomenal in her own way. And I learned a lot of things from her. She was able to manage her children, manage her work. There was a day I came to her office and she asked me to do an assignment, and I was kind of mumbling. And she told me to look around her office. I was looking around the office. Dad, do I see any badges? I said no. Said, do I see any plaque, any, code or anything? I said, she said, because I'm not your Girl Scout leader, I'm your boss. Go and do the job. I pay you to work. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I went to work, and she made me to understand that you don't get emotional about things. You just get up and go. Don't think too much, because women, we think too much. We'll be thinking, and then you don't get anything done. Just forget about yourself. Dust yourself and stand up and just go. And keep going like that, and at some point you will gain momentum and you will just start running, and that's how we should be as women. And that's how my journey has been. When I married my husband, we married pretty young, and I don't know, we were so young, we didn't really know much, and we were just, learn as you go. It's not now that you people think about many things before you marry. I just liked him, was a fine boy. I liked the way he smiled. I said, this boy, I can stay with you. And that's how I married him, because he was a fine boy. And I like the way he talks. I like the way he looks in trousers. Those were just the things that made me marry him. My older sister was like, do you love him? I said, yes. She said, you don't even love yourself. How do you think you love him? I said, no, I like this guy somehow. There's something about him I just like, and that has always, been my thing with him. When I just see him, I'm not angry again, because I like what he looks like, and then over the years, I had to learn commitment, because I now found people who look better than him. So does that mean I'll leave him and go and follow those people? No, so I had to learn that love and relationship is all about commitment. It's not about being with the best person. They have their own flaws and all that, but you have to be committed as a person to stay with that person, to go at it, to keep going. As my boss would say, just stand up and go. Stop thinking about it. And that's how I've practically done everything I do. I've just taken things as they come. I don't think about it. I wake up, I have a list of things I need to do, and I do them. And I think over the course of time, that has kind of worked for me, and my friends would say it's because I'm not very emotional. I think I'm very emotional, just maybe not as emotional as a typical woman, but I am kind of emotional somehow, but I just focus on what needs to be done, and I get it done, and I forget about it and move on to the next thing, and that really has been my journey, as a woman. I've embraced myself as a married woman, as a mother. I have 5 kids. I've embraced my in-laws. I lost my mom. I lost my dad, and everything just keeps coming at you, but you have to keep going, because, life, a woman's life is in passages, and between that, watching Barbie and fairy tales and old age, it's a very long time, and a lot of things will happen to you, but you have to keep, you have to keep going. You have to strive for more. What do I want to add to the society? If I'm not married, what can I do to have a more fulfilling life? A lot of people think if you're not married, you cannot be happy. It's not true. There are many things you can do in this society that will make you happy. If you can find just a little cause, even if it's to maybe train like 5 girls in school or 5 small children in school, that will give you more fulfillment than marriage. That's if marriage doesn't come to you, because marriage is very good if you think about it, but if it doesn't come, find a cause and focus on that cause and fight for that cause, because that's what marriage is. It's a fight. It's not just you are coming to enjoy you are coming to work. I thought when I married that, oh, I was just going to be largesse, but it's a lie. It's another stage of work. It's another type of work. The only good time side now is that you are with someone, but the work is that you have to raise kids, and you have to raise well-balanced, well-rounded children. And while you are doing it, you have to make sure you don't drive this guy crazy that he will run away. So it's a balance. You have to be managing everything as you are going. So my journey has just generally been to, as I receive things, I work on them and I move on. So I don't know, I think I've grown pretty well. I'm not so sad or so emotional. you know
Wow, wow,
all right.
that's quite amazing. Wow, it's a wonderful story from crossing over a fence to becoming who you are today. It's really
Yeah.
amazing. But then, even today, there's a lot of challenges, problems that women are confronted with. So, I want to know from your own perspective, what do you think are some of the peculiar challenges that women are confronted with or face in the world in which we live today? And then, how can women go about addressing these particular issues?
In Africa, in Nigeria, you have to consider culture. In our culture, women are kind of looked upon as second-class citizens. Someone was telling me the other day that we are not even second class, that we are third class, that is men, children, then women. And
Yeah.
it's a very bad position to put women, considering the fact that the entire family actually depends on that woman to exist. But that's where we find ourselves culturally. In some cultures they value the women, but in most cultures the women are the receiving end of whatever is happening. And from when you're a child, your parents start pointing you to taking the back seat in a lot of things. Like you will know something very well, but because your brother is a boy, you know they will make it look like it's the boy that knows more than you. So it starts from the home, kind of. And you see our mother say things like, don't buy a car. If you buy a car, you will not marry. They say some things to you that kind of holds you back as a woman. Now, you see some women are in abusive relationships, but because they don't want to look look at to be looked upon as failures, they stay in those relationships because they find their identity in relationships. So if my relationship doesn't work out, it's like I failed. But we need to draw some borders. We need to create some boundaries. You are not responsible for the actions of other people. You're only responsible for your own action. And we need to start teaching it to our daughters from when they are small. I don't know when you were young, but when I was young, everybody that was a class captain was a woman. They made us responsible for the class. If they make noise, we are responsible for the class making noise. And so we start taking on responsibilities too early. And so you see a woman, she has her own dreams and her own plans and her own future, but then she marries a man and she has to put all those things in the back burner and be following the man. It's not a bad thing, it's a good thing. But in that process of following the man, you now lose yourself. God forbid that man now leaves you. What will happen to you when that man is your identity? So I think women or girls have to be trained to have their own identity, to have their own dreams, to have their own values, because it is in these things that a woman will be strong. And a woman with a very strong identity and values is of higher value to a man than a woman who is like a follow. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. A woman who has her own purpose and is working towards her purpose, that kind of woman is a gift to a man and a gift to society. So we have to nurture our daughters to have dreams. We have to allow them to dream, allow them to do things that they want to do. And in doing those things, they will be able to find the right man that fits those things that they are doing. You don't want to be a woman that wants to be a doctor and you go and marry a man that is looking for a housewife. It wouldn't work. But if you have been pursuing your dream and you know in your heart that I want to help people, I want to take care of sick people, I want to nurture sick people and all that, and you meet a man, you can tell that this one is a good fit and this one is not a good fit. You can easily tell because you know what your purpose is. So I think women need to know their purpose. It will help them in their life decisions. Now, when it comes to the intimidation women are facing, women are being raped, and being taken advantage of. It has nothing to do with the women. Absolutely nothing. It has everything to do with the men. Women have no say in this thing. That a girl was raped, no be she cause her. It's the guy. Because in homes, you find that parents have taken their eyes off their sons and they are focused on their daughters to be good wives. Have you ever thought about the boy? Is he going to be a good husband? I hear a lot of stories. You hear that, the mother-in-law said the girl is not good for her son. And you'll be wondering, why will a woman say that about another woman? You don't even know this girl that you are thinking is not good enough for your son. So those are things that even we as women, we have to be cautious of. Don't put women down. Don't do that. When you have a daughter that is very attractive and all that, it's not a bad thing. Miss World is able to do a lot of things because she's beautiful. Beauty is an asset. You just have to teach her how to use that asset, how to nurture that asset, how to protect that asset, and how to see people that will exploit that asset. Because there are people who will exploit it, and most times they are men and some women. So the intimidation women are facing and the oppression women are going through has nothing to do with them. It just has something to do with men. Men these days, they feel very entitled. They feel they own women. I can do anything to a woman, nothing will happen. Like I was telling you that someone said we are third-class citizens. If a man sees a woman as a third-class citizen, he feels he can use her anyhow. He can do her anyhow. But it's not right. We need to have the society protect the rights of the woman, of the girl child. And then we need to start reorientating our boys to understand that this woman is special. She may not look like you. She may not be able to kick ball and run on the field like your friend, but she has her own power. And when we are able to teach our kids in that line, I feel maybe, and I say maybe because I don't know, I don't know if those kind of things will work, but I feel maybe things will be better. And mothers and fathers should be closer to their daughters so that they can report to you. They can tell you what is happening. This person touched me like this person touched me like that. Girls should be able to voice that. A lot of girls, they feel shame. You see a girl that is very beautiful, she'll be trying to hide herself. Why? Because everybody has made you feel that because you look like this, maybe you are going to be a girl on the street or something. No. A beautiful girl is an asset. A very strong-willed fighting girl is also an asset. But you need to make them know that they are assets. Don't let them take the back seat on things. A lot of women are afraid to lead. Some women will even tell you, I can't work for a woman. Why? I have only worked for women, and they are the most amazing people to work for. So when I hear other women say, I can't work for a woman, I'm wondering why. My own is even that I can't work for a man. But you hear such things, and when you look deeper, you see that even we are our own enemies. And my friend was telling me that a man can successfully marry many wives because the women will be fighting themselves instead of them to be fighting the man. We need to understand that we should fight together. This is our thing. We need to do things together. Women need to come together. They need to embrace themselves, and men need to value women and see us as an integral part of society. Without women, there's no society. If you look at the most powerful society, look at this COVID. The people that were able to successfully eliminate it were the countries that had women as their leaders. That should tell you something. It's not that men are bad leaders, but women have what they bring to the table. And we have to start recognizing that, especially in Africa. You know, if Africa can invest in their women, I'm sure we will not be as poor as we are. I'm very sure of it. We will not be as poor as we are. You know, but it starts from the home. Mothers have to see their daughters as assets, you know, not as somebody's wife. You know, see her first as a human being, you know, and then before you start saying without a husband, you are nobody. It's a lie. You are somebody with or without a husband, you know, and you have your own strengths and you can find your own place in life, you know. So I hope I was able to answer your
Yeah,
question now.
sure,
Yeah.
definitely. So the key point is that women should see themselves as assets, right? And then
Yes.
society as well need to put in place that's the systems that protect women, and women need to
Protect
empower
women.
themselves to
Yes.
express
Yes.
themselves and go for their dreams,
Yes.
whatever they want to do. That's quite interesting. Talking about pursuing their dreams and going for what they want to do. You as you're a parent, right? And you also work.
Yes.
So how have you been able
Yes.
to balance work and family?
Time management. I always knew I needed to learn how to manage my time. Even I think from when I had my third child, I knew I had to learn how to manage my time, unless I was going to end up with nothing. You know, and so you need to schedule things. You need to be in control of your time. You know, after you need to have, I do a to-do list, things I need to do every day. You know, don't always fall into the rut of doing the urgent things. The urgent things are not usually the things that move you forward in life. You know, there are some things that are necessary, you know, and you have to make out time for those necessary things before you take care of the urgent things. Personally, I wake up very early, you know, so that I can do my own thing before my children now wake up and I don't have my life again. I dedicate it to them, you know, and then late in the night, I now have my own time again. And maybe sometimes in the weekends. My kids are older now, you know, but I think every woman needs to have a grasp of how she manages her time. You know, you need to reduce your leisure activities like watching TV and, you know, gossiping and all those things. You need to manage. It's necessary for us to do all those things, but you need to put a time slot for them. You know, you need to create a time slot to do those kind of things, you know. So time management is key, you know, and I've been able to manage my work and my family because I manage my time and I find a way to weave them together. Like when I go for trade fairs, I carry my children with me. I don't know how other mothers do it, but me, I carry them. They are my sales girl, they are my tailor, they are my everything, because that's the only way I can parent and do my work at the same time. You know, when I go to work, you know, they go to school. When I come back home and I need to cook and do all, you know, cook, and I also have a fashion business that I run from my house. You know, I have a machine inside my kitchen so that while we are cooking dinner, I'm looking at all of you as you are doing your own work and I'm sewing my clothes. You know, so you have to be creative. You have to find a way to interweave your family life and your work life together. That is the only way you'll be able to find some semblance of balance. And if you're now a working woman that works outside the house, you have to know that when you come back to the house, you are now a mother. Your office work, you keep it at the door, you know, and then you now take on your role as a parent, you know, to now parent properly. So time management is key. You know, finding a balance, finding a way to weave your family and your work together will also help you a lot, you know, because you're also training your kids to have work ethics when you do that, you know. So find a way to do that, you know, and also, you know where to draw the line. You know, don't always entertain everybody that calls you. I'm a very boring person, so people don't call me for gossip. So I think I was lucky for that one, you know. But if you're someone who people always call for advice and all that, you need to schedule it. If you need my advice, call me between 7 and 8 o'clock. After 8, I'm not answering you again. You have to wait till tomorrow, you know. And then you have to have some time that you keep for developing yourself, you know, like maybe you're writing a book, you want to learn a course, you want to learn something. You have to create time for such things, because those are the things that make you who you are. All the other gossiping, taking care of children and all that, they don't make you who you are. It's the things you put inside that makes you who you are. And it's from that thing you put inside that you are able to give something out of it. So if you don't put something inside yourself and you are just giving, at some point you are just going to break down. So make out time for yourself, create time for yourself every day, even if it's 1 hour. If you wake up by 6, maybe wake up at 5 so that you have that 1 hour block. I believe everybody should have faith and believe in something higher. I believe in God. You need to have a God in your life. Very important, because crazy things are going to happen. You need to have a guy you can go to and know that the guy is not shaking, because that guy is that's like your pillar. You need to have a relationship with God, and you need to nurture that relationship. So you need to study about God. You need to have devotions. You need to pray. Very important, because those things, they build up your faith. So when something bad happens to you, it doesn't take you by surprise. Why? Because you have a belief that someone already knew about it, and he has probably prepared a way for you to come out of it. If you don't have that belief system, you don't have that structure to fall back on. If things happen to you, you will not take it very easy. So you need to have a higher being that you are committed to, and that you spend time with. What you don't spend time with cannot help you, it does not grow, it does not affect you in a positive way. So you need to create time for your God. After your God, my husband has not been around, but if you have a husband, create time for your husband. If you don't have a husband, create time for yourself. That's when you want to learn how to do eyebrow, you want to learn something, after you spend time learning something new, and always be learning. It makes you exciting, it makes you fresh somehow, so you learn something, and then that in the next 10 hours you are just going to be giving. Mommy, somebody has slapped me. Mommy, da, 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 da. You go to the office, you spend the time giving out, and then you come back home and you still give out. And then maybe an hour, 2 hours before bed, you read a book. Try to read something every day, no matter how dull it is. And then you spend time with your God again. And then if you have a husband, with your husband. If you don't have a husband, spend time with yourself. You can do affirmation. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I am created to rule my world. You can do such things. It actually helps, and that's how you can spend your day creatively. Not nurture yourself, make time for yourself, make time for God, make time for your spouse, whoever your spouse. If you don't have spouse, make time for yourself. Even when you have a spouse, still make time for yourself. But you have to share that your time for yourself if you have a spouse, between yourself and your spouse. I hope I was
Amazing.
able to answer
Yeah.
your
Amazing.
sister.
Yeah. You've mentioned something critical, which answered to some extent my next question, which was in times of maybe challenges, trials, and all that. How do you where do you draw your strength from? I believe you already mentioned one of it, that God, you have to have a God
Yes.
that you actually go. Apart from that, is there any other way to draw
Family.
strength? Okay.
I draw strength from my family. I have a close-knit family. I draw strength from them. I draw strength from my friends. Every woman needs to have a support system. You have to have God. If you have a family, God bless you, your family, and then you have to have friends. And some people say it's not good for a woman to have friends, but friends are actually very crucial to women. Because those are the people that you tell your problems to. And I have older friends. Most of my friends are over 50, intentionally, because I believe they have the experience that will guide me through my own life. And because those friends are older, they have been able to help me map out my life where I don't have so many distractions, because they tell you that one is not necessary. And they know what they're saying, because they've been there and they've seen that it's not necessary. So you need to have such support system. You need to have a group of women, that they are there to help you, to guide you, like mentors. They will mentor you through your life as a woman, because they have been there. So you pick them, with sense. You like how their life is. You go and approach them and say, will you mentor me? Most of them will say yes. Women are very nice, but don't go and be asking them for money and things. So just be focused,
Yeah.
know know what you'll be asking them for. So I draw my strength from God, from my family, and then from relationship, and of course from my oga pata pata, my husband. Because Men they are very focused. If you tell my husband I want to do this thing, he doesn't know how to beat about the bush. He knows how to just fire straight, and he will tell you. And you find strength in that because he allows you to be everything that you want to be. And before I was married, my friends and my family were people that I usually draw strength from.
That's quite amazing.
And then maybe my children make me happy. They make me laugh.
Yeah, it's
So
very, very important. I believe personally like it's amazing, and they just bring out the light in you, the laughter, and even
yes,
if you're
they are the
angry,
spice in life.
you just look at some things and just laugh about it. They're really amazing as well. On the for final thoughts, what advice do you have for young women concerning life decisions? Because you're married, you have five amazing kids, and you definitely walk through a journey, right? So
Yes.
what advice would you have for young women who are coming up, who are thinking about decision about a life partner, about work, about their future? What advice do you have for them?
There's a local proverb that will say water go always find in level. You know, you can only marry as good as you are if you are looking for a life partner. So if you are someone who has not really achieved much in life, don't really expect to be a guy that has achieved so much to be attracted to you. It doesn't happen like that anymore. So I advise young women to invest in themselves. Education is now like it has been democratized. You can get a Harvard education now, without going to Harvard. You can watch YouTube videos of lectures and all that. You can better yourself, you know, put things into yourself. I try to achieve a lot of things, set a very high goal and pursue it. And in the pursuit of that goal, you will find a man who is pursuing his goal too, and then two of you can be married. So set a high goal for yourself, better yourself, always read, be ready to work hard. Be ready to work hard. Don't get carried away with all the frivolities of life, fashion, and all those things. Don't get carried away with them. I believe your 20s is the time for you to amass knowledge, amass wealth, and amass experience. And in that 20s, you should do a lot of things. Because you studied fashion, don't mean you should stay with fashion. Learn other things and open yourself up to other things. If you see people who are doing things, follow them. Go and do it with them. Even if they will not pay you, you will learn something, and network, meet different kinds of people. Don't stay in one place. Oh, I only go to Redeem. Go to Redeem today. Tomorrow, go to Living Faith. Next tomorrow, go to Deeper Life. Day after next tomorrow. Open yourself to a lot of experiences because it is in that richness of your life that you'll be able to attract someone who has something to contribute to that life. Don't let your focus just be to marry. No, let your focus be to be the best person that you can be. And to be the best person. If you have an Android phone, you can learn anything. I was reading something Elon Musk said. He said college is not to learn. That college is just to do chores. That you can learn anything for free, and it's true. You can actually learn anything for free. So open yourself. You are in this era now. You are not like in our time when your parents have to look for money to send you abroad. Now abroad is on your phone. You can use it. You can learn it. Open yourself to new things. Open yourself to new possibilities, to new knowledge, to new skills. Learn a handwork as a woman. Learn how to sew, bake, plait hair, paint house. Learn something with your hand. It will help you while you are still doing your schoolwork. And don't be afraid to start working early. The earlier you start working, the better for you. And don't spend your money anyhow. It took you time to earn it. So use sense to spend it, and try to invest it. And I think every woman should have in her plan that she wants to buy a house at some point in her life. It's a good target, not because of anything, but so that you can leave an inheritance for your children. Things have changed, and women need to understand that things have changed. We need to start, looking for bigger things, and working hard. Work hard. Work very hard. Don't be afraid of work. As you see work, do it. If you don't even see work, go and look for work. And don't select work. Don't say, oh, I'm too much for this one. Every work is beneficial. The Bible says every work is beneficial. Because you learn something from it. Learn it. Because you are doing law, don't mean you shouldn't know how to fix your car, how to change battery. Learn all those kind of things. Enjoy your life. Enjoy your life before marriage. And invest in yourself and save money. And at the long end of your life, try to buy a house.
I see that's very important.
Yeah.
Wow, wow, it's really amazing. Thank you so much
Yeah, it's already
for
six
sharing.
o'clock. Interesting.
It's already 1 hour. The time just went so fast.
Yeah,
So it's
surprising.
amazing. I want to say a big thank you and shout out to everyone who has been watching this program. For those who have dropped one comment, Suzette, thank you for your comment. Marilyn, Mayowa, Patience Ojoma, and Aloysius. Right? Thanks so much, everyone. And Doro, I want to especially thank you for coming on this program to share with
Yeah.
women, men inclusive, and everyone who wants to build a better life for themselves. What it takes to become a better person. From your own experience, it's worked for you. Hopefully, it might work from them, and there could be one or two lessons that a young women and young men can actually pick from this discussion. So thank you very much for doing this.
Thank
Look
you.
forward to having some of this conversation another day. Um, thank you everyone for watching. Bye bye.
Thank you, Nathaniel, for having me. Bye.